realize I should have done this before the OPI video, but this is where I store my OPI nail polish. I made these nail polish racks out of foam core board and some ribbon, and each row holds about 18 polishes. So before my OPI collection, this is going to be blurry really quick, sorry, but my OPI collection used to fill up both racks and those little acrylic holders down there. Those were all full of OPI with some overflow, and now this is where all of my OPI live. Again, you can see how much OPI I have gotten rid of. This is including all the ones that I'm keeping to compare, so I have gotten rid of probably, I would say, a third of my OPI nail polishes. If you do the math, it's about 18 polishes per row again, so let's see, 18 plus 18, 36, plus another 36 is 72. Each of those acrylic holders holds about 15, so 32 plus 30, or 72 plus 30 is about 100 nail polishes, and then there's like overflow. So there was quite a bit of OPI that I got rid of. So this is the end result of my first round of destash. Again, there are going to be a couple that get destashed after I do my comparisons through all the other brands, but I wanted to show you that before I get into the Zoya. This is the box of all the destashed stuff. It's pretty much halfway full of destashed nail polishes. That's where all my OPIs have landed after I decided to destash them. And this is currently what my Zoya collection looks like. So it lives in one drawer of the Helmers. I did take out all of the pixie dust polishes because, again, I will be comparing those to the OPI liquid sands, but all my normal and matte velvet Zoya nail polishes are all in here. There are 69 Zoya nail polishes, and I will be swatching the first 10 today. So the first polish I'm going to show you guys today is called Gaia. This is a white base with a really beautiful gold shimmer. You guys can see that really well in this angle. This was a very early Zoya purchase for me. I believe I saw it on Scrangy, and I saw her swatch that was completely opaque, and then I purchased it and realized that it's fairly sheer. So you can see in that first coat, it goes on very, very sheer. So I decided to keep it and use it as sort of like a topper over other cream nail polishes. So that's what I've primarily been using it for the whole time that I've had it, which is about 6 or 7 years now. So yeah, that's the first coat of Gaia. I'm gonna go in now with the second coat of Gaia, and I feel like it adds quite a bit of color, but you can see it's not fully opaque yet, so I will have to do 3 coats. It's on the more watery side of formulas. I feel like really early Zoyas were all on the watery side of formulas, to the point where Zoya was definitely a love or hate brand for a lot of people. I remember Say Anything Brooke definitely didn't like Zoya for their formula. Throughout the years, they have gotten a lot better in their formula, and depending on the type of polish, like this is a shimmer, but depending on creams or whatever, the formula did change. So I feel like creams and shimmers were a little bit more watery than like the glass fleck, for example. So I will do 3 coats of this. I'm going to go in now with the third coat of Gaia. As I was saying in the beginning, I did like using this as a topper, and you could see how sheer it was in the first coat in order for me to do that successfully. And I would normally pair this with like blues or periwinkles or light purples, because I just liked the way that the gold shimmer played off of those color tones. And I feel like the white base didn't wash out the base of the under polish too much. So yeah, that's 3 coats. I'm not going to do a 4th so it doesn't get super gross, but that is 3 coats of Gaia. So this polish, I think I am going to just destash. I really loved this polish for so long, and I loved the way it looks, but I just feel like I am at a place now where I don't use it as much as I used to, and I just have other polishes that, like, I have other top coats that give similar shimmery effects that just work better, so this is going to get destashed. This polish is called Dove. This is a light Dove gray cream. I remember seeing this in one of those ads that Zoya used to do. They used to do these, like, they weren't like super big on social media, so they would do these little pamphlet ads. Whenever you did an order, you'd get this like informational pamphlet about upcoming collections, and this was in there, and I remember seeing it and thinking, I don't own just a gray, you know, and so I was really like into it, and so I ordered it pretty immediately after I saw it. That's the first coat. You can see that it doesn't go super opaque, but it's not super patchy either. I'm gonna go in now with the second coat of Dove, and this gets the polish pretty much fully opaque. You can see how much color it adds. I feel like this gray is pretty good as a not too cool, not too warm gray tone. And it's a polish that, it's another sort of palette cleanser type polish that I wear when I'm, you know, I want something different, but I don't want anything like too glitzy, and I don't want anything too neutral. This is my sort of neutral palette cleanser. So that's 2 coats of Dove. So this polish I am gonna destash. The reality is I don't wear gray enough to keep a lot of light grays. I have one from OPI that I really, really love, and so this one is going to be destashed. This polish is called Trixie, and this is a very, very bright and very, very foily silver. This is another very early purchase from Zoya for me. This one I believe I saw, it was probably Scrangy actually, and it was one of those colors that I couldn't find from other brands, and so I saw this and thought I needed to have it, especially because it was sort of a rare thing for me to find such a bright and beautiful silver foil. I believe this came in a little trio originally. Oh wait, no, it didn't come in a trio, but anyway, it's super, super bright. You can see just how reflective it is and how much color coverage it has in the first coat, and it's really easy to apply. So that's 1 coat of Trixie. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Trixie, and this is definitely going to get the polish fully opaque. This is my favorite silver foil. It is just so, so bright and so easy to work with and so silvery and just beautiful. So that is 2 coats of Trixie. So this polish I am going to keep. It's just, look at it. It's so like blindingly silver and foily, and even in person it's like so much better. So this is going to stay in my stash. This polish is called Kelly, and this is a blue-toned, darker gray color. This was, well, it was released in a collection, but it got sort of promoted in a duo with, I believe, the color Caitlin, which was a lighter blue-toned, gray-toned color. And I definitely forgot that I had this polish until it got re-promoted, and then fell in love with it. I do love that it is a darker, almost like a slate color, and that it's got that really feminine sort of blue tone to it, but it's still sort of an edgy dark color. So that's the first coat of Kelly. I'm gonna go in now with the second coat of Kelly, and this adds full opacity to the nail polish. It does deepen the color a little bit. It takes away the blue tone just a little bit and makes it a little bit more gray, but you still see that sort of slate feel to it. There's a piece of lint right there. And yeah, that is 2 coats of Kelly. So this polish I am going to keep. I love how elegant of a gray it is. I love that it's dark, but it's not too dark, and it's a beautiful fall color as well. So this is going to stay in my stash. This polish is called Ki, and this is the first really multi-chrome dark color that I ever purchased. This one I purchased because Say Anything Brooke said that it was one of her favorite Zoya colors, and I totally fell for it because it was, again, at the time in like 2010, the only polish that I had ever seen that looked like this and that was still readily available. So yeah, in the first coat you can see that it is dark. It's pretty sheer. It's got just that black base to it, but there's that really strong shimmer that you can still see. So that is the first coat of Ki. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Ki, and this gets the polish pretty much fully opaque. It adds quite a bit of color to it. It adds quite a bit of depth as well, and the shimmer comes out much, much stronger. You can see how strong that shimmer is in that second coat. So that is 2 coats of Ki. So this polish I am going to keep. I'm going to keep it just to see if I wear it a lot this year, and if I don't, then I will destash it. This polish is called Raven. This one I picked up because I believe All Lacquered Up said that it was a dupe for like a Chanel polish, and this is a black with a really, really fine pearl going through it. Like a really, really, really like barely visible sort of secret silvery shimmer running through it, and it's supposed to look like, I think it's called Black Satin by Chanel. Either way, that's why I purchased it, because it was a dupe for that polish. You can see in the first coat, it actually covers pretty well. It's not fully opaque. It's not a super watery formula either. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Raven, and this gets the polish fully opaque. It makes it pretty much look completely black on the nail. The shimmer doesn't come out all too much. You can see in the first coat it wasn't even there. So yeah, in the second coat it still only really looks like a black. I don't know if it's because I've had it for so long that the shimmer has sort of disappeared into the polish, but it was always super, super subtle to begin with. So that is 2 coats of Raven. At this angle you can see the shimmer better, but I still think I am going to destash this polish. I actually haven't worn it all that much in the last couple of years. I don't wear black polish really all that often anyway, so this is going to get destashed. So this polish is called Joules, and this is one of my favorite neutrals. It is sort of a grainy type color, like a wheat color, with a really beautiful gold glass fleck shimmer running through it. It is pretty sheer on the first coat. It's got a really nice formula. It flows pretty easily on the nail, but isn't too watery. So that is 1 coat of Joules. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Joules, and this does get the polish fully opaque as well. It adds quite a bit of shimmer, and that sort of grainy base coat or base color comes out very, very strong. So that is the second coat of Joules. So this polish I am going to keep. It's one of my favorite neutrals. It's so pretty, it's so sparkly, and it's another palette cleanser for me. This polish is called Cody, and this is a very, very dark brown. This has changed color a little bit in the bottle. It used to be a little bit more warm toned and not so like green toned. It definitely used to be sort of like an espresso color. So this is an older polish for me. This was one that I just kind of randomly saw on a blog, probably Scrangy, and I picked it up because I didn't have as many browns. And the first coat, it actually covers pretty well. You can see that it's pretty opaque. There's quite a bit of color coverage, and the brown comes out pretty well. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Cody, and this gets the polish fully opaque. It does add a little bit of depth, and it does deepen the color a little bit. Again, this used to be a little bit more warm toned. It never was quite this much of a brown toned green, so it has changed color. I didn't realize that it would, but anyway, it stayed in my stash for a while just because it is one of the only brown creams that I own. So this polish I am going to destash. It has just faded into kind of a strange color, and if I were to keep it, it would have been because it was that beautiful sort of espresso brown it used to be, and now it's just not a color I think I would wear. So this polish is called Cola, and it's very much like a Coca-Cola brown color. This is a light brown, which is a little bit warm. It looks very much like fresh milk chocolate as well. So at the first coat you can tell that it is pretty red, which means that we are venturing towards the red section of my Zoya collection, and it covers pretty well. It's not got a super watery formula. It is a little bit on the sheer side, but I feel like because of that it layers up to be a very beautiful shiny nail polish. So that's the first coat of Cola. I'm going to go in now with the second coat of Cola, and this gets the polish fully opaque. It adds a little bit of depth to that first coat, so it gets to be more of that like light cola color or that light milk chocolate type color, and it gets a little bit more saturated as well in that second coat. So that is 2 coats of Cola. So this polish I am going to keep. It is one of my go-to brown creams. I feel like it's a pretty flattering brown cream on me too because it is on the warmer side. So this is going to stay in my stash. This polish is India, and this is actually a newer polish to my collection as well as a newer Zoya polish. I believe it came out about a year, 2 years ago. And this is a beautiful sort of, I want to call it like a Marsala wine color. I'm not quite sure if that's the right color, but it's a deep berry toned color with a beautiful shimmer running through it to make it feel a little bit like a spice, if that makes any sense. I love the way this looks. It is so pretty. It's such a like gorgeous fall color, and it has a really nice formula. You can see in the first coat, it applies pretty thickly and applies pretty opaque. So that is the first coat of India. I'm going to go in with the second coat of India, and this gets the polish fully opaque. It brings out that shimmer a little bit more, so that it gets a little bit sort of warm toned and that sort of spice feel to the nail that I was saying before. So yeah, that is the second coat of India. Just look at how pretty that is. Like, it's so gorgeous. This is definitely staying in my stash. This is such a beautiful red color, and I love just how rich it is and how beautiful it is, and just this is one of those colors that like transports you places when you see it. For me, it definitely transports me to the East because it's called India. Maybe because of that, I like think that it just has that sort of spicy, exotic feel to it, but it's just such a beautiful color. So this is going to stay in my stash. So that is this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, if you could give it a thumbs up, that would totally make my day. And then otherwise, I will see you guys soon.